We're here today in beautiful Herceg Novi, Montenegro, at the furthest west point of the Bay of Kotor. It's a glorious day. We're going to take you and show you around the old town and see what this place is all about. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
That's right. Join us today. Our journey to Herceg Novi from Biella starts here today at the bus stop. The bus from Biella is about a 20-minute ride. When you get on the bus in Montenegro, you get on the back. There's a guy sitting there. You pay him the money, he gives you a ticket, and you get off at the front or the middle. So we're just waiting on the bus here. Bus comes about every 30 minutes. We're excited today about Herceg Novi, aren't we?
Yes, we're about to explore the old town.
That's right, we're pretty jacked. All right, we're good. All right, so it's about 20 minutes. Cost is €1. You can't screw it up. There's only one bus, point to point. If you want to come here from Kotor, you can take an air-conditioned coach, or you can take 2 city buses. Up to you. There's only a couple stops in town. You can't get off at the wrong one. When you get off the bus on the main road, the old town is downhill towards the ocean. You can't miss it. There's signs everywhere. All right, so the cost to get into the old fortress here is €4. So this area in particular has evidence of people being here as early as 300 BC. The fortress and old town here was built in the late 1300s. Similar to so much stuff in this region of the world, the timelines and who was here, who ruled what at different points in time. It's not actually far from the Croatia border, maybe 20 kilometers. And you would be at the closest place there would be Dubrovnik.
Sure.
So they've obviously set this up here to do concerts and shows. They've got lots of seating and a stage. This one's certainly not as big as many others in the area. Not so sure the €4 is a good value.
It's hard to imagine how anybody could shoot any kind of artillery out of that thing with any accuracy.
Well, I guess going back then it would have been
Arrows,
bows and arrows, yeah. And there's some cannons here too. So directly behind me is the mouth to the Bay of Kotor. You can see why this was put here. Anybody coming into the bay would be spotted instantly. Got the old town below. It's quite pretty here, Sarah. What do you think?
Gorgeous.
You know, after 3 visits to Albania and seeing fortresses galore, you'd think you'd be fortressed out.
Step through.
So we retired to travel the world full time. And part of that is going to some tourist areas and part of our journey and showing you some of the highlights, what you may want to see, what you may not want to see. We also show you just normal daily life. So we're going to talk a little bit about the tour we did there of the fortress and give you our honest opinion on that because, you know, we pull no strings. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate that?
I would give it a 3.
She's giving it a 3. It's a bit generous. I'm going to give it a 2. I don't think that the value for money there is worth the €4.
Yeah, I think if this is the only fortress you get to see in the Balkans, you might want to pay the €4 to go in. But there are several that are much bigger, much better, much more interesting. So in our opinion, I don't think it was worth the price of admission.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some of the rooms that were there, you know, they could have had some displays, but instead they just had, you know, office furniture sitting around, chairs, tables. Yeah, not worth it. Not at all. Anyway, we're in the old town, and this is a pretty good place. If you're a first-time watcher of our channel, or you've been watching before but you're not subscribed, we'd encourage you to subscribe. It helps our channel out. We're going to continue to bring great content about all the places we live and stay as we travel the world full-time. So in the center of the old town here, kind of a square, is a beautiful church. Wow. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Wow. You got all sorts of cafes, bars, restaurants. We're here early in the day. We came to beat the heat. Because it's hot, it's humid. One of the highlights always of old towns is just wandering around. Sarah and I just enjoy having a peek, being a little nosy. Sometimes someone's door to their courtyard is open. We'll have a little peek, see what there's going on there. It's nice. These little small alleyways. There's a very well-known music school here as well. You can hear them teaching piano inside. Sounds really neat. The music school's been here since 1948. Now that is one amazing water polo location. I don't know what they would call it. Right on the water.
Stadium maybe?
You think it's a water polo stadium?
Stadium, arena, something like that.
I don't know. So there is another fortress here. Fort Mare. They want another €4 to go into it. So you know what our answer to that is? So just outside of the old town at the waterfront, there's some markets, there's all sorts of restaurants, some shops. All right, so we're just sitting here at the water polo club on their patio. So water polo is the national sport here in Montenegro. These guys are in incredible shape. I mean, they're sitting there treading water, sprinting. It's amazing. This is beautiful. It's right down at the marina. They built this pool right down in the bay. It's crazy. It's wonderful. So it's actually pretty fun. We spent maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour here, sitting here watching them play water polo. It's pretty cool. So the water polo club is located right at the marina. Honestly, it's a great way to spend an hour or so just watching what's going on. The first group that we were watching is just sort of maybe teenagers, right? And this group now is sort of late teens, maybe sort of 19, 20 years old. And the level of physical ability and coordination and stuff, they're going through drills. These guys are in incredible shape. It's really interesting to watch. I'd really encourage anyone coming down here that has time to come here, sit on the patio and watch this. The walking area down by the marina here, it's just beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. Oh look, there's even an arcade. The claw machines. Anyway, we're not into those games.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Do you think you could get addicted to playing the claw game?
I think it has the potential to be very addictive, which is why I'm staying away from it.
Yeah. This is a pretty spectacular walking area along here by this, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. It's really nice. The water is clear. There's lots of people swimming. Beautiful flowers on the non-water side. Absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, this walking area that they have here is exceptional. Very pretty. There's not a lot of tourists here right now. There's no cruise ships that come into here. Some people may get the bus here after getting off their cruise ship, but fruit stand, Sarah can't miss that. Actually, she's more of a veggie stand person. Herceg Novi has definitely one of the nicest coastlines to walk. Sidewalks are beautiful, everything's in good shape, there's no garbage anywhere. It's lovely. And all along this area here, there's little beaches. There's not one massive beach, there's just lots of little beaches. People are just hanging out with their families mostly, by the looks of it. Everyone's having a good time.
So definitely if you come to Herceg Novi, don't skip the water promenade. It's a really nice stroll down here. And also if you're looking for somewhere to stay that's not as sleepy as perhaps Biella where we are, Herceg Novi would be a really good choice. There's lots of accommodation down here near the waterfront, you know, apartments. I'm sure there's lots of Airbnbs, lots of restaurants, lots of cafes. We've passed a couple places that are advertising live music, so it's definitely a little more happening than we're located, if that's your thing.
Yeah, I agree. This would actually be a reasonable place to stay. So due to the rocky nature of the coastline here and the lack of sand and rocky beaches, they made a lot of these sort of concrete pads for beach areas. That's kind of one of the complaints you hear about Montenegro, is the lack of beaches, but you know, I guess you work with what you've got. They've got a beautiful coastline here. The scenery is stunning. Everything's green and lush. They get a fair bit of rain here in the winter, but in the summer it's just spectacular. So definitely now we're getting towards lunchtime. There's a lot more people here. So I think we're on the hunt for a place to eat now. Coming up on noon. Whew. It's hot. Humid, eh? Mm-hmm. Is it humid, Sarah?
It's humid.
Sarah's in a bad mood. She bumped into me while we were walking. My fault, of course. She wasn't watching where she was going. All right, so we're heading up to the main square. We've gone up the hill here, bit of a walk. It's the main square and clock tower in the area here. Time to hit the bank machine. One of the things about Montenegro is that credit cards are widely accepted. So we've been using a lot less cash than we were previously. which is nice. We don't have to pay any service fees for using a credit card, unlike ATM service charges here. ATM service charges are pretty steep in the Balkans. I mean, it's all relative. In terms of how much we spend in a month, it's insignificant. All right, so this here in the main square is the old clock tower here. Yeah, these old towns are always neat. They're generally a rip-off. Depends though. Sometimes you can find good values. You really have to look. You really have to pay attention before you order anything. So for example, there's a Shopska salad here, 300 grams, 8 euros. Back where we are, 3.50 euros. So Sarah's found her way back to the bookstore again here. Get herself another English book. They're usually used and they're expensive, but you get what you get. She's in a bad mood after bumping into me. Smashed her lip. Wasn't watching where we're going. I had turned around to take a photo. Boom. So now she's in a bad mood. She's probably doing a little bit of retail therapy. So I better just keep my mouth shut. Oh, there's a lot of tourists here. So, what did you get?
2 books.
Used English books?
Yes.
How much?
$16.80. A little expensive, but necessary for my sanity.
$16.80 each or for 2?
For 2.
Well, that's pretty good. 20 bucks for 2 books. That's all right. For her sanity. Told ya. So one thing that's really nice here in Montenegro, and actually in this region so far, is that on any menu item, they need to tell you how many grams of food you're getting, so you know exactly what you're paying. You're always best if you're standing in a town square and hungry or thirsty to hightail it out of there. That's one of our best tourist pieces of advice. Walk a few blocks, get away from that. You'll find yourself some better values. If you see a whole bunch of tourists sitting down and eating, you can assume you're getting ripped. Or paying a premium anyway. Here we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got some nice shade here. This is going to be perfect, actually. It's a really nice place here. I like this. What is this place called? Restaurant Tre Lipe. All right, so in my search for the best burger in the Balkans, I ordered the deluxe burger. Comes with fries. Tell us what you've ordered.
I'm getting the breaded fish.
So we got a deluxe burger, 9 euros, and breaded fish, 10 euros. So see what that's like when it gets here. So the burger has arrived, and completely not what I was expecting. It's a giant burger, but there's no bun. So anyway, welcome to Herceg Novi hamburger time. Sarah, let's have a look at what she's got here. So right about now, I'm having breaded fish envy. That is definitely what I should have ordered. Anyway, let's see how it tastes. Looks like a 2 thumbs up. We've got our typical Montenegrin friend at our table now. If you're gonna order fish, you're getting cats. It's a nice looking cat. Anyway, we got this giant burger patty here. It looks like it has some cheese in it. Do the chip test. Oh, those are good. They know how to make chips. This burger I'm not sure about. It's like a giant burger. Okay, wow. That tastes really great. The seasoning is amazing. That's a really good burger patty. And actually, it's so big, I don't think you'd want a bun. There's chili flakes on it. It's spicy. So I think if you get the street food version of this, you get it with a bun, but you don't get fries. It's funny how in two parts of the world, or many parts of the world, beautiful, beautiful, burger means different things. I suppose if you're from America and you brought your kids here for a burger, they'd be pretty shocked when that showed up. So baked into this burger, or cooked in with it, is onions and cheese, and the seasoning is it's amazing. It's really spicy. It's quite hot, actually. I really like this. Completely not what I was expecting, and completely satisfied. The size of this burger is completely insane. If you went to McDonald's, you'd have to order about 6 quarter-pounders with cheese to get the same amount of meat as this. That's unbelievable. How's the fish so far?
It's good. It tastes fresh. It's maybe a little on the dry side, but it's got the sauce to put on it. My friend the cat here seems to enjoy it. I think we may own a cat now.
This burger's so big, I don't even know if I can eat it. That's how big it is. Sarah's been busy feeding the cat, and there's a big sign that says don't feed the cat. Plead ignorance. Sarah just made a really good point about food here in the Balkans and what we've noticed with serving sizes.
That we could easily be splitting an entree, you know, either that burger or this fish, split between the two of us with a small salad would have been plenty.
Yeah, I agree. We haven't actually ordered a meal here yet. It wasn't too big. You know, it's the food comes and you're just like, what is with all this food for the most part? So, you know, point taken, we'll have to kind of remember that. Yeah, I just had Sarah try this burger and she said, wow, that's got some zing to it. That burger patty would feed 3 people. I'm not kidding. Destroyed. I ate the entire patty. I'm so full, I feel sick. Maybe need a siesta. Well, I tell you what, that wasn't the best hamburger experience that I've had since I've been in this region of the world. But that's definitely the best tasting hamburger patty by quite a bit. I don't think I'll come back for it because that's just way too much food and I can't do that again. Jeez. All right, so that was restaurant Trilipe. Would highly recommend that. That was really good value. Sarah's got a to-go bag.
So I think for the street food version of what you had, you get with a bun, you get half the meat, so it's 150 grams, no fries, for $3.50.
All right. Interesting. I saw people eating what looked like kind of a street food burger. It's kind of what I thought I was getting. That's more their snack thing. Half the size, less money. Ooh, it's warm out. Well, if you have a hard time doing stairs in the heat and humidity, Herceg Novi might not be the place for you. This is pretty tough. Wow. It's low 30s. Humidity is very high, 70%. Just dying here. We were just gonna go stand in the shade for a minute. It is that hot. Today's video, if we had sponsors, would be brought to you by ibuprofen and sunscreen. So the old town in Herceg Novi, it's pretty small, wouldn't you say, Sarah?
Well, by and large, most old towns are. I mean, they usually don't take more than a few city blocks.
Yeah, it's not a huge space. There's quite a bit of stuff here. Not compared to some old towns, but it's nice. It's worth coming here, for sure. If you're in the area, if you're in the Kotor Bay, if you're in Kotor, you should definitely come here. Check it out. I'm glad we came. I'm just a little hot. So I don't know the story behind this clock tower, but it's pretty significant. It's quite beautiful. So we'll head up there. For we can't walk up any more stairs here. We're approaching that point in the day, I think. See what the view is here like of the square. And you got all your tourist magnets and stuff. Whew. Now we've done a loop back of the church. So we may have reached our maximum of hot alleyways to walk up. Oh. We just passed some other tourists and the guy said to his wife, I do not want to go down to have to go up. Going up here in the heat is pretty deadly. We're gonna go down. Totally dehydrated, need some water here. There's a Voli market up here, I think. Oh, that's good.
Dig way in the back for the cold ones.
Uh-huh. So we were gonna walk down to the water here in Herceg Novi and put our feet in, but we've opted not to because it's so hot. We can't imagine having to walk back up the stairs to where we are now. So what we're actually gonna do, and stay with us, we're not done today. We're gonna check out the beach in Biella. Maybe put our feet in the water, see what's going on there. So if you get the bus into Herceg Novi, the public bus, and you need to leave, you need to know that you can't get back on the bus on the main street where you got dropped off. You actually need to walk on the low road to the bus stop. There's bus stops on the high road going back, but no bus will ever stop there. So you need to find this down on the low road. If you're not sure, just ask somebody that's local, they'll tell you. This is what the bus stop looks like that you want. So we started off really early today because we knew it was gonna be hot. Next week's actually gonna be hotter, but we should have actually started out even earlier. We should have been on the 7 o'clock bus in the morning. We didn't do that because we didn't want to get stuck with all the commuters and also students going to school. That's why it's kind of a good time to leave right now. All right, so the first bus came by the bus stop, completely jammed, not even an inch to get on. Anyway, the ticket guy leaned out the window and said there should be another bus coming, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. must be time for kids getting out of school. They should have a freaking school bus. It's ridiculous that you can't get on a freaking bus. Not happy. Hot as hell. Roasting. Oh, here's another bus that came by. But it only goes to Igalo. No, that bus doesn't go where we need to go. It's empty though. This is when you're living on a budget traveling, right? Taking the bus. I've seen 4 empty taxis go by. We may just have to buck up to 10 or 12 euros or whatever it is. You can only sit here for so long. Well, we managed to make it on the bus. All right, so apparently everyone gets off where we get off here in town. If you came to our channel to watch luxury travel, you can see that that's not quite what it is, eh?
This ain't it. And the people on the buses here have a very annoying habit of standing right in front of the exits, even if they don't intend to get off.
Exactly. Exactly. Stand by the exit door, but not getting off. Dummies. Anyway. Yeah. So we're budget travelers, as you can see. We stick to it, right? Even though we don't have to necessarily. You know, we're bringing you real life, boots on the ground, long-term slow travel on a budget, right? It's not limos. It's not the Hyatt Regency. It's not the Hilton Hotel. It's ordinary life, right? Just a couple of ordinary Joes living in a not so ordinary place. All right, so we just got to pick up a few groceries here, and then we're gonna start heading that way. Maybe sit at the water for a few minutes, we'll see. All right, so a bit of a walk home. It's pretty windy out. Sarah's gonna have a little bit of a dip in the ocean here. can't tell you. So the water is actually not too bad. I mean, it's pretty cold, but it's refreshing anyway. I'm not a big fan of swimming in the ocean. I like swimming pools. It's just kind of nice to sit here for a few minutes. All right, so we're gonna head home, and when we get there, we're gonna give you a summary of our thoughts on Herceg Novi. All right, so we've just spent the entire day in Herceg Novi. We got the bus at 9 o'clock. We got back at about 4. Sarah, what did you think of Herceg Novi?
Well, I think when we talk about Herceg Novi, we're talking specifically about Old Town because we didn't get into the city center. We spent most of the day in Old Town and on the promenade down near the water. But it's nice. It's there's a bit to see there. It's not huge, but it's definitely worth a go if you're in the neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to be in the Kotor area, the Kotor Bay, for sure it's worth going there for a day. It's a beautiful place. The old town is quite nice. It's not too large. It is a little bit hilly, but the scenery is wonderful. The walk along the water, that's a real highlight, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. And if I think I said earlier, you know, if you're thinking about staying somewhere, you don't want somewhere too sleepy. If you could find a place close to that promenade in the water in Herceg Novi, close to Old Town, it would be ideal for a few days.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to stay 3 or 4 days, I think you wouldn't go wrong staying at Herceg Novi. There's really a lot of great restaurants in that area for sure. You could have really good dining experience, right?
Yeah, and some had live music advertised. There were a couple pubs advertising craft beer. You know, there's a lot more going on there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth staying there for a few days if you like. There's definitely a lot more tourists there, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, anywhere with an old town, you're going to find more tourists than where we are staying.
Yeah, exactly. So that wraps it up for today. We hope you enjoyed spending some time with us. Definitely, if you're in the area, put that place on your list. We'd really recommend it. I'm Jay.
And I'm Sarah.
We're a couple of Canadians. We're traveling the world full time. We hope you like what we're doing, and if you do, hit the like and subscribe button down below, and we'll see you in the next one.
Do Virginia.
Do Virginia.